What's going on, my gentle people? Lewis here, back with another video. And I had an idea the other day, so I wanted to be pretty consistent with the content that I'm putting out for you guys. So I wanted to make a series. So starting this Wednesday and every other Wednesday after that, we're going to be launching a video called White Belt Wednesdays, where I take questions from you guys and I answer and I give you guys my thoughts. Alright, so if you guys have any white belt questions, make sure you leave it down in the comment section. Hashtag WBW. You could also hit me up on Twitter and I'll make sure to answer you guys. Alright? If you're a recent subscriber and you're back to the channel, you get one of those. I truly appreciate you all. And if you're just joining us, make sure you hit the subscribe button to join the conversation. So this week's question comes from Reddit user Vitoy. Been training consistently for 2 to 3 months now. I got over that feeling at the start of my ego driving me to hate tapping, etc. And although I don't like being choked for obvious reasons, I handled all that pretty well now. Tonight, a brown belt came into the gym that I've never seen before. When it came time to rolling, I paired up with him first and he straight up did not give up. Usually the higher belts here, and I assume everywhere, will play around with you, practice their technique, and engage in the roll without mauling you if the skill gap is too big. This brown belt crushed me with so much weight I haven't felt before, tapped me numerous ways, and you bet he absolutely cranked those submissions. I barely had time to tap before the pain was immense. By the end, I was almost in tears. It was rough. Just had to get that off my back. Thanks so much for sharing. I wanted to respond to your comment because I know that scenario does come up a lot. I know people who've been in the exact same shoes where they've come to me and expressing their frustrations about a role that they had with somebody who seemed a little bit extra rough. So I'll tell you guys a little story, right? I first started Jiu-Jitsu. I went to this MMA school that was in the neighborhood. And they had a Jiu-Jitsu program, so I went there, tried the class, liked it, signed up. And it wasn't until like my second week where I first started rolling. So I was excited. I was going to get to have my first roll, so I get there. They partnered me up with this guy, and this guy, he was shorter than me, but he was bigger, a little bit round, a little bit on the heavy side. So, in my head, I was already judging, and doing, saying all kinds of things in my head. I'm going to do this, I'm going to use my speed. I'm definitely faster than this guy, and you've been training for 2 to 3 months now, so you know that this didn't end well for me at all, right? So the bell rings, I come at him like a bat out of hell, and in my spazziness, I smack him in the face dumb hard, right? I try to get a collar tie, and I go and I hit him in the face dumb hard, and he just looks at me. He doesn't say anything, right? Just stern face and all. So I'm like, all right, whatever. We keep going. Next thing I know, I get hip tossed, and he lands right on top of me, right? So I don't know if you've ever been hip tossed before. It's not fun, right? So I gather my breath a little bit. He ends up in side control. He kind of just chills there controlling me, but he slaps on the meanest crossface I've ever experienced in my life. My face is like this. All of my air comes out. I can't breathe. I ended up tapping to his side control pressure, right? It was just crazy. So we end up starting the second round. We reset the match, right? So we stand up. I look at the clock, and only 45 seconds has gone by. Alright, 45 seconds. So needless to say that the rest of that 5-minute round was not fun at all. So after the round was done, I didn't want to roll anymore. So I sit down to the side, kind of catch my breath, and I'm watching everybody else roll. I'm watching Adam go again with somebody else. And it was during this roll, I was like, wow, I really want to be just as good as Adam. I've never trained Jiu-Jitsu before, and I had just walked in. So it was like I'm basically a random person from the street. Adam's been training. I didn't know how long he was training before I got there, but a couple years definitely for sure. He was a blue belt at the time. So I wanted to be able to be that much better than the random person that came from the street, right? So that made me motivated to try to be just as good as he is, right? To learn all of the stuff that he did against me so that I can be able to do that to a random person that could walk in, from the street. So that was my motivation to it. And I kind of keep that mindset everywhere I go. Fast forward 7 years, and now I don't want to be just good enough to be the random person off the street. I want to be good enough to beat the best people in the sport. Just to show you kind of like where my head is at in terms of having roles like that. So every time that I experience a role that's that rough, I try to get as much knowledge from it as possible, right? What failed in my game that caused me to get squashed like that? What ended up what mistake did I do? What could I have done better to prevent myself from being dominated to such an extent? Alright, so when someone from a much higher skill level doesn't hold back, I take it as a blessing in disguise, right? Because I feel like if they're holding back, you can't really see where your game is at in comparison to theirs. You can only see where your skill is at in comparison to what they're showing. I mean, and that's motivating enough for me to keep me invested. So use the mindset to help you motivate yourself to keep you invested in Jiu-Jitsu, first of all, but not just invested, but to motivate you to grow and develop your Jiu-Jitsu to the point where you're able to hold your own in your guard and you've made some improvements, all right? Or you're able to fend them off a little bit better, you've made some improvements, and you take it step by step. Well, that's how I see it. So Batois, thanks so much for sharing. Tune in next Wednesday when I submit another video. See what I did there? Submit another video. That's a bar! So if you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it and you want to keep this series going, let's try to get this video to 50 likes. So I need you guys to go down there and smash the like button. And don't just click on it on the computer either. I need you guys to be a little bit more intense. Go up there and drop an elbow.
Here it comes! Another people that love me!
Alright guys, so I'll see you next week. Peace.